You can see
Okay,
from
there's really two things that I would like to go over. I started both of them and I didn't finish either of them. Usually I like to start something and finish, but both of them are so important. And one is that we did a tab last time, and when we clicked on the tab, it worked. But then I said we should do it smarter, if you recall.
Yeah.
I will hold on that. We'll continue with that on Sunday. I would like is to go back to the projects that Brenda was working on, and I want Brenda to finish that project. Okay, Brenda?
Okay.
And then on Sunday, we'll finish also pulling how to make a smart tab uh, using Ajax. That's the other topic that I wanted to finish. It's in the curriculum for this certificate. But I just want to give you a little push, okay, Brenda? And hopefully we'll have time to look at it. And I think everyone should know it as well. And you'll be the tutor of the class. And then I'm going to give you an assignment, okay? Okay, so let's look at it. By the way, I built up a similar project as the one I did with you. I'm going to put it in Academy City, in fact. I think it's a good exercise. And then eventually you can always move it around. Uh, so everybody see my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, this one is, first of all, let me describe. There's a lot to describe, and then we get to the bottom line. It's also a point to start working in a more advanced style. So far we learned about by the way, just to remind you, in Academy City, I have Academy City, I have Apply, application, I have so many of them. I added one for Uganda uh, economics. And in the Uganda economics, you have the regular stuff, you have the URL. In fact, all the URLs is there. It's just for the main page, okay? And in fact, if you run it, you will see when you put Uganda in here, you refresh. I get an error. Hold a second. I probably made some mistake there. Let me erase it. Let me just. Oh, not this one. Views. That was me. I just find why it is. Here we go. It's in here. And why it doesn't like me, data processing. And it should be data processing, this one. Yeah, okay. Let me just ignore this one. We'll get back to that in a minute. Okay. In fact, it's a simple page. There's nothing. Uganda Board of Statistics, export and import. Okay. So this is really just an empty page. You can think about it. And the way it works is you have the index. This one is the important part. We'll get to that in a minute, but you can ignore it even for now. And it's really nothing but a very simple view which open this template, and this template We're going to put a lot of things into it, and that will be part of the exercise. But we basically have a template, and inside the template, we have this index, and inside there is really nothing beside title. Is this it really? Hold a second. Yeah, Uganda index, and I'm transferring the title. Okay, now that I'm opening the index, I am just putting a title right here in the middle. Let's make it big. This is the title. So I'm transferring, let's make it H1 so we can distinguish it, but nothing really exciting. Just to see that everything is working right. We go there. Your seats will be a little bigger. Okay? So everything is really working and simple, but that's not what's interesting. What we really want to do in this project is to read two Excel files. Two Excel files that Brenda prepared from data she downloaded from the Uganda Board of Statistics. And Brenda will explain all of those on next Wednesday, okay? When she finished the whole things. And she will talk about how she downloaded the PDF, how she converted to Excel. And now we have those two Excels. By the way, I put them in a special place in an organized way. I made a directory called data. And inside the data, no, this is not the one. Sorry. I think I put it outside altogether. Yeah, I made a data directory right outside the project. This is the project really. I put it even outside for a reason. Because one day I might want to put it in Amazon Web Services. Okay? And when you go inside, I call it Uganda. Under that, I have Uganda economics. And under that, I made a data set. And here is the two files. It's not coincident because I want to work very organized. This is a topic that I talk about in machine learning and in business intelligence. We're not going to cover all of that. I just give you a glimpse. It's part of what we do, spend on those two courses, and that's a different field. But for our purposes, we don't really care about that much as we want to know where those files exist. So one thing I do want you, and you should be able to understand, and that's the exercise for all of you, is I'm getting to the view. And there is here an object that I created. The object called algo, everyone say algo 1UE. But I can take the algo 1 altogether out. I don't know why I call it algo 1. I'll remove it. Sorry. Let me go back to here. I will, in a minute, I will explain. Okay? That will do the work. But see what I did here, I said, I don't want my view to look too condensed, and there's a lot of advantage. One day when you do really sophisticated advanced topics, you see how important it is to do it the right way. I made an object, and I want these objects to do the work for me. It's enough for me to call that object, and I want him to deal with all the data processing. Okay, is everybody with me? Daniel, Mildred, Jimmy? Okay. Is Jimmy with us?
Yes, he's connected.
Okay. So I want to make a object that when I create it, it will do the whole work. And I usually like to put it in a separate file. Okay. And the way I usually work, this is the true academic city. In other Academy City, you will see we have applications, and there's many of them. One important one is called the core. So you always want to have a core application. And there's another things you want, you're making another one for Uganda economics. And now see what I did. In Uganda economics, I defined something called data processing. I can make as many files as I want. And what did I do in here? By the way, if you can see, I'm not going here for coincidence because in here, I defined algo UE. Algo is for algorithms. But I really mimic a little bit what we do in machine learning. Okay? And that's hopefully will give you the appetite to take that course as well. We will do that course next semester. We'll open it up also for Uganda. But it's step by step in Ivory Coast is really steaming up big time. Okay, one of the students taking that course wants to open a consulting in finance now, accounting and finance, because he wants to analyze data and he can do it now. He's getting close. And that's really the objective, okay? So, so I defined a file called data processing, and inside there, I defined this object. And let's see what that object is. Control B. It's a nice object. In a minute, I will explain. But it's inheriting from another object called algo. And algo, it's always good to have if you do analysis. And Brenda is going to, is that right, Brenda? You want to be analyst? That's why you're studying statistics and economics. And is that right, Brenda?
Yeah, that's right.
So you most likely would like eventually to take the machine learning course. We dive into it deeper. But here I put the basic algo, I built it up, by the way, designed for machine learning, but I put it in the right place. I put it in the core because I might use it in a lot of other applications, depending on my need. So the core is another application that hold all the basic. See, there's so much in there, by the way. Already added so much. Okay. And here I created something called algo utilities. That means anything I want to do with algorithms, which will be used in any other application, I'm building the basic objects right there. So if I do here Control B, it will take me right there. Now, this is not a trivial algorithm, by the way. A lot of things you can't really understand, but some you do. The first one looks scary. First of all, it's algo inheriting from objects. Object is a basic Python class that usually when you start your own, you should really inherit from it for many other reasons. I won't get into them now. But then there is a lot of functions. And the first one you should be familiar. We went over that when we studied Python. That's called the constructor. Is that right? Remember? Remember the animal, the cat, the dog? Remember
Yes.
those? Anybody remember?
Yes, we do.
We remember.
So algo, which is the basic, it's like the animal example. It has a function called init, which is the constructor. Well, I built it up for a machine learning course, so I made it to accept a chapter ID and a target field. It doesn't really mean anything for you now. You will in a minute. Ignore the target field. This is for machine learning, but this is important. Chapter is means, really I should call it, I should really call it a project or a application or whatever. But eventually, I didn't want it to change the terminology, so I kept it as a chapter. So when I create the algo, I need to create it, give it two variables, the chapter, and I have to give target field, okay? And the target field, he will use it later on. We'll see in a minute. I'm not going to go over the whole things. That's what I said, it's a different course. But I will give you what I think you should know for knowing to use Excel. For now, I'm not going to jump here yet. I'm just going to talk about this constructor. So when I'm building algo like the animal, I'm calling the constructor. But if I'm inheriting from algo as I do here, let me close this one. Here I have algo, and here I have algo UE, which inherit from algo. And if you remember when we inherit the kit from the animal, remember
Yeah.
we did that, we didn't really talk about that much besides creating it in some way. We call it animal, which you could, but there is a better way. You can tell superior means it's the constructor of the object I'm inheriting from. One more time. I'm creating a new object class called algo UE. But I'm not putting in the constructor, I'm not going to put any data into it. I'm not going to transfer any information. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to call the init of the parents of the superior, the one above me, which is algo. And algo is expecting to get two variables. So I'm giving it to him. I'm telling him, as chapter one, call it Uganda economics. The target, don't put anything because I don't really know if I need it for now. Later on, I might change it. We're not going to use it for now, at least not for dealing with Excel. So this is a beautiful structure of having algo as a basic object, and we'll see what his job to do. And then we have algo UE, which I'm going to use in my project. But let's go back and see what am I doing in algo UE. First of all, I give him a variable called chapter one. I give him another one. I don't give him anything. He goes to here. And what does it do? Except chapter one. And after I accept chapter one, is keeping it, by the way. Let me see where I put it. Anybody see chapter one here? Let me put it even on the top. That's the right place to put it already. Because it's the first variable we're getting. I just put it here. Now, what am I doing? Like with the cat, in the hands of the cat, if you remember, the animals. In the algo, I'm keeping the name of the chapter. So this is really, in fact, it really is giving me the name of the project. You will see in a minute because chapter, I'm going to transfer as chapter ID is the U economics. So the chapter is going to be U economics. And it's going to keep it for me as a variable that I can use later on. All over the places, I can use always chapter one, meaning the name of the project or the application, I should say. That's one thing. Then this one, you don't really care. That's in machine learning. We talk about it. Randoms and the seed of the random. All of those, you don't really care. You can ignore it for now. Okay, I just put it there for completion. What we really care is this one. and I'm going to explain this one. I want to know once for all, where is my data? So I don't always have to go and write the whole location. So I want to do it once and forget about it. And see what I did. I went to the setting file. This is inside the setting file. What is the setting file, by the way, here? You already know. We have a setting. We have the setting. We go to the base. And in the base, you see we have a web directory, which I defined there. I didn't talk about it before. Okay? If you follow up and you try to print it, you will see it takes you to the Academy City. That means it takes you to this directory. Okay, to this directory. But I don't really want this directory. I want to go one above. So what I'm doing here in algo processing, sorry, I tell him, take this directory and, and go one up. This means go one up. When you say OS path, directory name, it takes you one above it, which means it takes me to two projects URLs. Means I am here now. And then I tell him, go down, add to it data. So he's adding the data to it. And then he's going to add to this the chapter ID. Chapter ID, I got transferred from his parents. And chapter ID is really your economics. So I am now in really, chapter ID is your economics. That means get to here. In other words, let me print it to you and you will see it as we activate it. So you will see, I will print it. It will tell you that this is really the project root directory gives you exactly where all your data is supposed to be. So after I do it once, I can forget about it. And I will show you how you use it in real life. Okay, later on, I make sure that it exists. If it doesn't exist, I create it. You can ignore it. And then I made another directory, which is more interesting, not less interesting, I should say. Let's copy this one and print it. And this is really what I care really most. That's what I care is where is my data. And after that, I can forget about everything I did, I can forget about it. Because what this one does, it takes me to where the data is, okay? And what I did is, to where is the project, I just added another directory, I called it datasets. And my dataset is really what my Excels are. So from now on, if I want to read or write Excels, I can just tell him, put it there, and it will do it. So let me just run it again so you can see really what we did, and then we'll come back to it, okay? Okay, let's refresh. When I refresh, I think maybe I took it away. Sorry, let's see here. No, I didn't. Okay, good. By running this line, I'm creating an object of algo UE. Creating algo UE, it really is creating this object. And this object goes to the parents and call his constructor. So he's going really here. And see how beautiful. When he's calling this one, he's really running all this code. He's running all this code. And when he's running the code, let's follow up now. Let's go for the very top. See what he's doing. He's starting by making 50 dashes. Okay, there are 50 dashes here. Then he tells me you are in the constructor of the parent. Okay, he write it down here. That means it's working. Then he's writing constructor parent 22. That's what he wrote, and then he makes another line. Then pay attention. He's keeping the chapter to be Uganda, U towns, and then is doing all the other stuff we don't care for now. And then he's creating the project and he's printing it. And here it is. He's printing where this project is. The project is under two projects, one BI, one BI, and then, sorry, IB1, that's right here. And then under that, it goes to the data. And under that, it goes to the economics. So this one is the Uganda economics. I can delete now this one because we don't need it now that we understand how it works. In fact, I don't need all of that. And from this one makes sure that that directory exists. If it doesn't exist, it will create it. So OS make directory, it just makes sure that that directory exists. If it does exist already, so don't add another one, of course, don't erase it, just keep it, okay? Then we go to the next one, we take the project root, which is this one, we add to it data sets. That's what we're adding, data sets. And that really means it goes to here. So from now on, when I need data, I really take them from to data path. To data path, that's my path to the data. All the rest you can ignore. I'm not going to get into them, but they are very similar. It's create an image, it create a model, and this is the images, models. We use it in machine learning. We don't need it for now. And all the rest is really less important. They are just defining some variables you need in machine learning, but we don't need it here. So for now, all what we really need from this one, that the algo have created a link to my Uganda your economics, and under that I have data sets. I put to Excel that Brenda have created. And if I want to approach them, now it's easy. I go to the project, the object that inherit from the algo. So the algo UE has everything. It also has, what else does it have? What else does it have? Everything. Everything means he knows this directory, and he knows he has not only that, he also inherit all those functions. Remember add hands or add legs I did in the example in Python? This is just like the same. A lot of functions we're going to use, okay? One of which, it's kind of nice to have. Load Excel data. Load Excel data, it's reading files. And see how I use it. I use it here since algo UE inherit from algo, you also inherit this special function called load Excel data. So let's go and see here if there is a function like that. Oh, there is. I inherited it. What does it require? It requires only a file. Let's look at it. This is a beautiful. This file, I take the file, and by the way, now that makes sense. I take the file name, says it Excel, you add to that the extension XLSX. And then, by the way, this one I will delete. That's good for there, okay? And this is really the Excel path. By the way, all what it does, he goes to the data set and he add the file name to that, meaning he takes all the export, the import. And then he put it, he call it Excel path, and moreover, he used the Panda function. He reads the file inside the Panda. We did that before. Brenda, you remember we did it? Brenda?
Yes, I
Remember
do.
we did it, but we didn't do it nicely and organized as it's now.
Yes.
And I will help you how to do it in yours. Okay?
Okay.
Now, what do we have? And I return the data. The data, I'm keeping it here. I don't really need it here. In data, in machine learning, you really organize it even better. I'm returning it. The reason I return it means that in here, I'm creating two data sets, one called export and one called import. Those are database. Let's print them. See how beautiful my code becomes to be more elegant. I forgot about the algo. I don't really care. I removed all the print. It does the work. Now I focus only on this one. All what I had to do, it's really just read those two. And let's make some space here. Print. And let's just put a little space. So it will divide between those two data frame. Data frame is like a table. Let's go here, restart it. And let's refresh. By the way, who does the work? This one does the work. The view create a new object. Hey, creating this one means it goes to here and it call this function first. This function calls this function. So this function organizes everything, the, the link to the data sets and everything. And then, and also has all the function and everything. So now I'm utilizing a function from within the algo to read a file called export and a file called import. See, this is export, import. This one is smart enough to add the extension, so I don't have to worry about it. I get two data frame and I want to print them. And let's see how does it print it. Refresh. Take a little time, erase the data, go back, and here we go. That's really nice. I'm getting all that stuff as we talked about. By the way, we can remove this one anymore. We don't really need those anymore. You know, when it says this one we don't need anymore, so that one will go away. We really don't need we don't need the one from the parents anymore. We already know it works, so I can remove it, so we don't need it. Okay, let me start it again. So I run it, look a little cleaner. Okay, and now let's see the results. It's beautiful. I get a line because I ask him in algo here. I ask him to put a line of 100. Then he reads, first of all, in fact, he reads the file from Excel, the file called export. He knows already what it is because I did it in algo. After I read it, he keep it inside algo UE. So this is, I can always use this in other function as well. Okay, there might be other functions. I can use it. And this one is creating also the import. I just asked him to print both of them for me. So he is printing really the first one, you see? He's printing the first one, which is the first one is the export. You see, Binder isn't, looks like the Excel. We have the sites, SITC2, description, all the years, and all the data. Is that right?
That's right. That's
And
okay.
then it's printing the second one. This is the input. This is the input. Okay. What did I do here? Oh, this one I will come back to it in a minute. Okay. So why does it print it twice? No, this is one. Sorry. What did I do? This is the first line. Good. Then I print it. Let me make, hold a second. Already the place that I wanted to put is here. So it would be nice to follow. So let me start it again. So it will be easy to follow. Okay, so let's follow again. We have the line, and then we're getting the export. That's the export data. Then see we have 64 rows. Then after that we have a line. This is this line. And then I have the import. So this is the import, and that's same. And then it says to me, I don't know why this one, why is it doing twice? Did I read it twice? I don't know why it does it twice. Shouldn't do it twice. I will check on that. It shouldn't do it twice, but I will check why does it do it. Okay? It should do it really once. He hold no, I don't think this is the reason. Shouldn't be the reason. Yeah, let me try it. I don't think it should do it twice. It should do it once. I'll figure out why. Okay? Try it again. Yeah, why does it do it? Get. Yeah, I know why. I know very well why. Because the why did it inside Academy City, but that's okay. Let's ignore that. When I'm only getting bottom line, I have two variables. I can take this one away now. I have two variables of interest to me, one called export, one called import, and the data is kept nicely for me inside the Algo UI. Now, I want to make another function here. And inside this function, my objective after I read the data, I want to put it in a database. That's where we stopped last time. Remember, Banda? I just did it very elegant. Why this one is really elegant? Because I don't really care anymore what Algo is doing. I just know if I want to read a file, all what I have to do is call this function and put the file name. That's it. I forgot about Algo altogether. I just know I have this capability. Moreover, after I get all my data in Algo UE, I can develop a lot of functions to do the work for me. And I can even forget about this one. Here I just made it simple, so it will start processing it, okay? And later on, I could even really take this one out from here. By the way, it will work just fine. After I create the object, I can really call it from here. It will be the same things. Processing data for Uganda. And it will work just fine. How do I know it will work? Let's try it. It calls a special function of this object. So let's look at it. This one I want called paste. I just print my name. Print Amos. You know what? I don't want to print Amos. Only I'll print also print self dot export. Is that right? Can I do that? In fact, I call it DF export, data frame export, export. Let's run it, okay? It will do the same things. It will just, instead of printing it inside the init, I'm printing it here. So let's see. Run it. Works. And no surprise, it does print it nicely. You see that? It should have made how it printed once now because it doesn't have to create the object twice. Okay? But this is really cool. This is very cool. That means I can start processing the data inside here and I can forget about this constructor altogether. This is somebody did the work for me. I just know that two, I have two, uh, I have two database, one export, one import, and that's the end of it. Does that make sense? Everybody got it? By the way, you see Amos here? He pointed Amos,
Yes.
pointed Amos. Okay, so I'm going to take the Amos away because I don't need it. And let's try it. Now I would like to do, and this is really what we're trying to do, we don't just want to print it, we want to learn about data frame a little bit. In the machine learning, we teach the whole chapter on data frame. But let's see, I want to do for loop on data frame pandas. That's a library. For now, that should be fine. Different ways to iterate. Here we go, that looks like fine. Let's see. That's pretty cool. It's building up a data frame. Let's forget about it. We have a data frame. We give it the columns, okay? I don't care. I don't care. What I want, I care about this one. Hey, what does it do here? Okay? Is really reading it by the index, but hold a second. Why did he put an index here? Is there an index here? Anybody see index? There's 4 lines. Yeah, there's no 4. Yeah, there is an index. This is called an index, by the way. Okay? So I said to him, for index in data frame index, print data frame name, the index, and data frame stream index. And what did he do? See the output. He got me unkind and mate. Amit commerce. I don't really like this method, honestly. But just be aware it exists. One day when you get to there, I don't like this method. There's better ways, okay? There are better ways. This is much better way, okay? Let me explain. And there's even a better way in a second, okay? This one is doing a loop, but it's still using a range. It takes the length of it, so it's running on it. I don't like it. No, not elegant. I want an elegant way. Oh, this one, slightly better. You know, in fact, this is a very good one. I'm still not going to use it. I use it a lot for other purposes, but not for now, because I need to use the index, and I don't want. There's another way. There must be another way. Oh, let's look at this one. This one, kind of cool. It says, do it this way. Let's do it this way, and I'll tell you why I like this one the best. By the way, sorry about it. It seems like I'm fooling you. I have gone through all of those, believe me, so many times. But for our purposes, this is really one of the best. Why? I have a data frame, and the data frame has a function called iterate over all the rows. Go over all the rows. Give me the index and the row. Okay, I'm not going to use the index, but I do go going to use the row. So let's play with it. Okay, now that I tell you what I'm going to use. So I'm not going to print this one anymore. And I'm curious why it's giving me twice. That's strange. I have the index. Ah, I have that one. Yeah, that's, hold a second. Let me take this one away. No, that's fine. I have this one. I have this one. That's fine. I don't know. We'll see in a minute. We'll get there. Uh, Instead, in fact, I don't already have a DF, of course. What I have is, anybody can help me? I have what? Self dot DF export. So let's do it for the DF export. Let's read all the rows. I have the index. I read the rows. Name is not really part of my database. As you know, I have this variable. So let's read this variable. SITC. SITC2. Is that right, Brenda? And then we have description. Let's just type those two. Description. So far, so good?
Yes.
Let's see if it works. That's a hard one, I told you. Oh, he doesn't like me. Why he doesn't like me? Why did I make a mistake? Anybody? I misspelled description. I'm so good in. I can't spell anything, by the way. Is that the reason, by the way? Description. Maybe that's all. No, that was right. So why he doesn't like me? What does it say? Key error description. I don't know. Let me try that one more time. Let's take it away for now. Let's see if you give me the first one at least. Then I'll play with it. Yeah, it works. So maybe I misspelled it. Okay, what do we see, guys?
Numbers counting.
I'm getting numbers. What are those numbers? I'm getting it
Index.
twice. It's bothering me why I'm getting it twice. I don't know. Very strange. Bear with me a second. Apology. Let me do the following for a second. It shouldn't give me anything. Yeah, it shouldn't print anything. Yeah, it doesn't, which is good. Control F. Ah, yeah. Let me put that one back. And let me go to here, Control B. And in here, I go to the superior, and that's fine. And when I go to the algo, why this one does it twice? That's what I don't care. Ah, maybe I have a printing inside here. Control B. Did I print it here? Load, pay, data, and read. No, it doesn't print. And why this one does it? I don't know. Let me do the following. Control B. Let's write here. some point. This is the way you really figure out. It does print twice. Did you see that? Which is really annoying. And I don't know why. I don't want it to print twice. And I'm going to do this one again, just to make sure that this function bring it once. I'm going to do 2, and let's see what happened. Okay, go back. Okay, let's see what happened. So I get 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2. It's really like being called twice. You see that? Yeah, it's being called twice. This function is being called twice. Why is that? That's weird. Let's go back to here. This is fine. This is fine. And this is fine. Shouldn't be called twice. So now we want to do is print. Sorry about it. It's too long today. Let's do 3 times 20. And let's do this one time. And do it as 4. That's very strange. Let's forget about the import for now. We'll worry about it in a minute. Twice. Why is it doing it twice? Hold a second. I get the 3. I get the 4. So that's one time. This is good. And then he goes again and he calls himself. That means this object is being called twice for some reason. Why? Anybody know? Michael, Brenda, Daniel?
Not really.
It seems like this object's being called twice.
But it's like it's also appearing twice, 2 lines, not so.
Yeah. Hold a
If
second.
you I'll go then feed me
Take
the
this one
upload.
away. This one is fine. This one doesn't do anything. Let's leave it. We didn't do anything in the bottom. Let's do it again. I don't really know the answer. See, this one is calling this twice. There's nothing here. Let's take this function altogether out. Doesn't exist. And now let's try to understand why this one being called twice. I'll figure it out. Here we go. What happened now? Yeah, we didn't call this function from here. I didn't call the function. Upload data to database. So this is being called once, and then it's being called twice. Why? That's what I have to figure out. But let's say that's okay. So now when I'm here, why I'm being called twice? We put one more things here, point Amos. See how many times it points now, Amos. Hey, point Amos twice. It points Amos twice. This is being called twice. This one is being called twice. Who is calling this one, by the way? Anybody? Who is calling this one? It's being called by Jesus. Who is calling this function? See, it pointed Amos twice. So it means this function is being called twice. Let's look at the URL. The URL of the application Uganda Economics. Let's look at the URL. And in the URL, it's being called once. But who is calling this one? Who is calling this one? This one comes from here. And Uganda, let's see if we can have it. Control F, Uganda towns. Sorry, Control F, economics. Here we go. And that's just right here. There's another one, there's 3 of them. That's fine. Everything's just fine. I have no idea. So let's go back to here. Yeah, we have Uganda economics. Why does it do it twice? Everything's look just fine. Did I make Uganda as an application? I think I might. Okay, I will figure it out, okay, guys? And talk to you on Sunday. I won't waste your time. But in any case, it seems like this function is being called twice. Okay? So it shouldn't really. Let me just one more little thing double check. If I didn't, this is the Uganda apps, admin, this one. Oh, I don't know, very strange. Home, index. That's the empty one to the home. Let me see the Uganda towns. Same thing. Okay. Okay, I'll figure it out, okay? But the key point is that we got finally to the point. I'll find out why it does it twice. It shouldn't really call twice, but I'll figure it out. Don't worry. After we created this one, we're really running this function. And this function, what I would like it to do, is to go over all the rows. Let's open this one. This one we don't need anymore. But we do need this function. And in this function, I want it to go to the index and the row. So let's print the row, the index. Let's print those two. The index and the row. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, and here we go. I do get the numbers. It ran twice for the reason we talked about before, but I'm getting the ID. The ID, it's the number inside, maybe so we can really appreciate it. Let's do a print. Let's print the whole table, which is this one. So let's print it again. Okay, let's go back up. Okay, this is really the table. Okay, look at the table. The table this is the index. Okay, and this is the SITCE2. That's the next variable, and that's what I'm printing. If you look, the last one is 63 and 97. That's exactly what we're getting here. You see, they do match. So we're getting we're getting the index and we're getting the first column. I would like to get the column of 2015. How do I get that? So let's go back to here, and we don't really need that. Let's put this one also, and we write row